Hi, thanks for watching this episode of The Blade Boys. We're going to break down the Cup of China next. I'm Ted Flett.
And I'm Das.
And Myth, let's get started. Mao Asada was in Cup of China. She was like, I love this woman. Like, this is the best comeback story, I think, of the season. We'll start with the short program. That short program, I'm just going to say it now, she's going to win the short program at Worlds. Hands down, no question. I don't care what the other women do. I'm certain that she's going to land, she'll land the triple axel. If not, she'll muffle it a bit, but she'll get enough credit for it. She's now going for triple again in the short program, which I have not seen her attempt in years. So a woman's coming back after a year off, and she's coming back with like all the arsenal. Her triple combination in okay, sometimes it gets an under rotation, but it looked really good at Cup of China. Okay, so there's also some really picky folks on the judges panel, the technical marks there, and that the costume alone, the color of it, the open back, it's sensational. You rarely see Mao in a ponytail. She's wearing a ponytail now. I mean, I love this skater. I think that short program is like, I like when she tries different things. She pushes her artistic boundaries. It's not always the big war horses of, Rachmaninoff or Swan Lake or...
She did Rachmaninoff like at the Olympics. She got that out of the way.
Yeah, so now she's, and yes,
she's experimenting now, which is good.
Totally, and it's great. Madame Butterfly is a bit more, traditional, I suppose, but I love I love that she's doing a show tune, a show number for the short program. I'm so excited about this return. Like, this is how, again, I think we've said it before, but we've made some excuses or some accommodations for people like Zashar and Trankov, that they might have a bit of a slow start getting back into the competitive scene. Patrick Chan as well, Adelina Sotnikova. Mao Asada just continues to show, like, you want to know how you make a comeback? This is how you make a comeback. You bring it all and you'll land everything.
I thoroughly agree. I mean, I think me and everyone in the skating world, except maybe her competitors, are like so happy that Mao is back. She had a fantastic free skate at the Japan Open a couple weeks, maybe month or so ago. Yeah. But this was her first return to the Grand Prix after quite some time off. And I think her programs were kind of, Mao 101. Like, it was triple axel in the short program, triple axel in the free program. Both were great. I mean, that she silenced any doubts as to whether or not she can still do that. To me, they actually look stronger now. Like, it seems that she's getting a little bit more height. Almost like a Tukdami Shayla. She's starting to use her body more to generate that power and strength in order to ensure that it's no longer about like tight I mean, it's still a tight rotation, but now she's getting the lift that she needs to make it less ambiguous as to whether or not she's fully rotated the jumps. Her short program, though, now you say that it's a given that she's gonna like win the short program at Worlds. I don't think so, and the main reason for that is her triple combination, and she has a habit of getting an under rotation. I think sometimes, like at the Olympics, she gets a harsh call, and or at Worlds, last time she was there, like, she gets a harsh call, and she should actually get it ratified. But regardless, it's the technical specialist's call at the end of the day, and it seems that a consistent theme is her triple getting under rotated. And if she can't do a consistent triple, then the points that she's making up on the triple axel are actually getting negated by the lack of grade of execution and the lack of full base value for like under rotating the second triple. Another issue. Yeah, sorry.
I think she's addressing the problems with the triple by attacking it more. So by including it not just in the occasional program, but including it in her repertoire in the short and long on a regular basis, I think this is going to help to correct that problem. She's going to get more accustomed to, okay, this is what a triple looks and feels like in competition.
Yeah, I thoroughly agree. I think it's what she needs to be doing. That for sure, that goes without saying. But I think I think it will hold her back from potentially being the leader. We've already seen some 72s, some 73s, and this and another thing that more so than the triple is her fluts. And man, she tried so hard over the years to rework her technique to like, and you can see going into that flut, she is like, stay on the outside edge. Please, baby Jesus, let me stay on this outside edge. And unfortunately, like she just goes back onto that inside edge. And if a tech specialist is calling Malasada out on it, then I'm pretty sure it's a legitimate flutz. And I was looking at it on replay. I'm like, yeah, that's definitely an exclamation mark and like an edge call if you're gonna call it correctly. If you're being lenient, it's an exclamation mark. But sorry, Japanese fans, don't kill me. But but yeah, that triple Lutz. And the problem with it is that by getting an E call on it, it's a 30% automatic deduction. And also with that comes the second hit, which is the grade of execution deduction. Because she did, if that was like that was a very clean triple flutz, right? Like that was still a very lovely jump, and it's still harder than like a double lutz or whatever. But it only ended up getting something like 3.72 marks, which honestly a clean triple Salchow would have ended up getting more. A clean triple toe would have ended up getting more marks than her clean triple flutz ended up getting. So it's gonna hold like that's a significant thing. Like it's about 2 or 3 marks off, and then with her triple triple, it's 2 or 3 marks off. So that's why her world record of like 78 points, which she managed to get without a triple triple, I think like it's gonna be hard for her to obtain that again. And kudos to her for getting her triple axels, but those are really holding her back. And then in the free program, she was third overall in the free program. So she's clearly vulnerable, which is fine because she's just like coming back. But I don't think it's a foregone conclusion that she is overwhelmingly the favorite. I think that depending on the technical specialist and depending on how well her other skaters, the other skaters skate, that might affect her placement. I mean, her final score at the end of the day was 197.48. So that means it's under 200, and we've already seen some like plus 200 scores from Gracie Gold and from Evgenia Medvedeva. So she's back. She's hitting the elements, but she needs to get it a little cleaner.
Well, I mean, in fairness, I was talking about the short program. I think the short program is a winning short program. Mm-hmm. She was skating to like a Yiddish show tune, not "Don't Rain on My Parade." So myth, "Don't Rain on My Parade."
I'm not gonna rain. It's just a drizzle. It's just a little drizzle.
If that's where she's sitting, and if that's how she's performing in, at the beginning of the season in November, this is only going to improve. And by the time she gets to March in Boston, is it March or April? Whenever it is in Boston, I think she's going to be absolutely killer. And the only one that can really rival her technically is Elizaveta Tuktamasheva in terms of who can who can land a triple axel. And Elizaveta is only going for a triple toe loop. So what Mao is doing with the triple flip, triple loop is more competitive. However, of course, Elizaveta does her in the second half of the program, and that gets bonus.
She fully rotates hers as well, which again is a triple toe fully rotated in the second half is worth more than a triple flip, triple loop under rotated in the first half. So I mean, Mao is doing.
But the components are going to kill. Right, the components will be a gap.
And Mao is doing everything she needs to do right now. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm not like. She got 71 points with 2 errors. So that's like, you know what I mean? Like, yes, if she gets that clean, she will be untouchable. But, her triple is a bit of a question mark. And whether I don't know, should she still include the triple Lutz? I mean, is this a bit of a wake-up call being like, okay, maybe I should change it to a Salchow, or maybe I should even something simpler like a triple toe. Like, I mean, you got to go with a smart game plan, and unfortunately, her triple Lutz is not getting the results that she wants. But her free skate was still very lovely. She nailed her triple axel, and of course, she managed to win the event in her comeback. But in second place was her compatriot, Rika Hongo, and she was a skater who actually did pretty much go clean the entire time. Like, I don't know if she got hit by an under rotation or anything like that. Well, I know in her short program she got hit by an edge call, and in her free program she got hit by the same problem that Mao got, which was like her triple flutz edge call, and I think that cost her, that cost her the victory. So again, with Rika, it was very frustrating because like I absolutely love Rika Hongo. I think she's kind of like the Akiko Suzuki of the Japanese women, where she really knows how to entertain and really knows how to like bring out that fire in her program and like kind of create this sense of flight as she's moving across the ice. Like I get very excited to when I watch her programs, and definitely her Riverdance program is like you have Shaylin Bourne, you have Jason Brown, so those are some like tough like previous river dances to compare to. But I actually think for some reason her like hunched shoulders and like her kind of leanness, it kind of makes her look like a Russian or a Russian. It makes her look like an Irish an Irish dancer, right? Because they kind of have this like sort of like I don't know if it's not a relaxed thing always. Like sometimes it's like
they're shrugging or something.
There's like this tension, and
okay,
it works for her build. And I think in the step sequence, like when she gets her little, that is definitely some like Lord of the Dance movements going on right there. She's the queen of the dance right now, as far as I'm concerned. And her triple flip, triple toe is working marvelously for her. I think in the free skate she was kind of like the judges didn't give her the benefit of the doubt on her triple lutz, which cost her the victory. But that being said, a second place sets herself up nicely for the Grand Prix final. And if she performs the way she did at Cup of China, then she definitely has a huge shot to make the Grand Prix final, which she should, in my opinion, because I think a clean, consistent skater should be rewarded for that. And we've seen skaters who have made mistakes who make the Grand Prix final, and like my heart goes out to the other skaters who are like kind of second tier and don't get the marks and don't get the scores or the technical calls that allow them to like get in there. So hopefully she can make the Grand Prix final, and we'll get to see more of those programs because I absolutely love this girl.
Yeah, it's funny. I don't love her to the same extent that you do. I do though think she's chosen music this year for the short program and the long program that set her apart a little bit. They're not sort of the typical light, fluffy ladies figure skating music. I think Carmen last year was frankly beyond her. I think Riverdance is a bit more within her repertoire, although I think she could be a little bit more particular and meticulous in terms of her toe stepping and so forth to try and bring out that Riverdance flavor. And maybe that will come in time, or maybe it's just not, her skating is just not accustomed to that. But I mean, I think it is I think they're generally good programs and good vehicles for her. In third place, it was a little, unfortunate, disappointing to see Elena Radionova. She was even further back after the short program and was able to pull up to get herself onto the podium. I think this is a skater who last year was seen as the biggest threat and sort of a lock on at least a silver medal at Worlds, and that slipped through her fingers. And she's having difficulties this season. I think she's just growing and trying to, catch up to the changes in her body. Mm-hmm. I don't mind her Titanic program. I frankly like her long program this year better than the Rachmaninoff program last year. But you might have heard me, swooning back in our Nebelhorn update. I think Jörg Hendricks has and this is not a known skater and he's not a major player on the world scene, but he has the best Titanic long program I have ever seen in figure skating. And, I think if you're going to skate to really powerful music like Titanic, get some really awesome, authentic choreography going with it. I'm not certain that Artur Dmitriev, is quite the right fit for that. But we'll see. Maybe with time, and if it's tweaked a little bit, it'll evolve. But I do think I think this is an improvement, frankly, for me over Rachmaninoff last year.
I mean, okay. I actually disagree because I think this Titanic program is like a bit of a mess for her. I say this as a huge, me, I love me some Elena Radionova. last year, like you could tell, like she was starting to struggle with some of her jumps, but man, she's a fighter. She will, at any cost, she will pull out those jumps, and that's what I love about her skating. And she skates with such attack. But to me, that was the problem in this Titanic free skate. Everything was so rushed. It went from element to element. She wasn't interpreting the music. The music cuts are absolutely awful.
Yeah.
Like, excuse me for saying, but like the Jack, I'll never let go. Like the spoken word stuff at the end is just is kind of tacky and kind of like it works for some people. Like York, I think I didn't mind it, but like with Elena, it's like it's I don't know. I don't find a lot of right things with this program, and again, when the jumps aren't there, like it kind of falls apart.
Well, the fact that I think it's better than Rachmaninoff last year, that tells you what I thought about her Rachmaninoff program. I agree. I think it needs some help. I think this program needs some help. And I think that, that a lyric, like the spoken word portion at the end, I think wouldn't seem so absurd if she had more commitment, or if the artistry and the interpretation was just more genuine instead of all these flailing arms sort of whipping about. So.
Yeah, and like I said, like that her style of skating is a very aggressive style. Like it's very get the job done. Like she like that is what I love about her, but I think that's to her detriment in this program because Titanic is very soft lyrical music that requires like finesse and interpretation and taking a moment to really like pick up nuances in the music, and she does not do that. Like it is very much it is very much a competitive free skate. Like that's the thing. I don't get like any lyricism. I don't get any. It's not as aesthetic as I've seen before. And with the Rachmaninoff, it was fine because the music is a little bit powerful. So having an aggressive approach is great. But I think Elena, in an effort to look more mature and having a softer side, she still needs to complement that by showing a softer side to her skating. She can't just skate to softer music. She has to really bring it. Her choreography needs to be stripped down a little bit. Her cuts need to be reworked because like those are some sorry Elena, but those are some of the most atrocious music cuts I've ever heard. It's like she took the entire CD and tried to cram it into like a 4-minute program and then get the remix and then get the spoken word in and everything and everything but the kitchen sink. And I'm sorry, like that program was like one gigantic iceberg of like a music compilation. Okay, like she should let that one go. Okay, like they say she'll never let go, but I think she needs to let
it go.
She needs to let this one go a little bit and kind of figure out how she wants to reapproach this program, because I think she can pull off Titanic. I think it's not beyond her. I think she can pull off softness and lyricism and stuff, but in this effort to get through all her elements, it's very, very apparent that like it's kind of like the interpretation that would be appropriate for Titanic is getting lost in her attempt to get through all these tricks. So we'll see how this evolves throughout the season. Yeah. Good for her for holding off Pogorelaya, who I thought Anna Pogorelaya has been the judges have kind of denied her a couple bronzes here and at Worlds, I think, against Costner. So poor Anna is like kind of getting the short end of the stick. But Elena still is.
Well, wait a minute. If you're going to throw that, Carolina Costner had an outstanding short program at the 2014 World Championships, which set her way apart. So I'm totally behind that decision.
But the free program, come on, girl. Like,
yeah, that's fine. I think she was fifth. She was fifth in the free skate. I mean, judges scored her appropriately based on what she was able to do. That Bolero program is brilliant, and Pogorelaya, she just. I mean, I'm not certain she's improved musically or artistically significantly since 2014, but she didn't have the stuff then. But moving on,
we will. That's a conversation for another day. But anyways, we will move on from the ladies' competition at Cup of China.
Okay, in the pairs event, we have Kavaguti and Smirnov, who took the championship. I think it was a big upset over Sui and Han. It was exciting to see Kavaguti and Smirnov. This is not a team that I am necessarily massively affectionate towards.
Even with
However,
her little heart
yeah,
opening thing.
because they can be so sticky, and they got this. They went into this period. I mean, they've been on the scene for so long. They got into this period in sort of 2012, 2000, I think it was the 2012, 2013 season, or 2011, 2012, when they were kind of getting away from all that, like, look at us. And they were a bit more easier to watch. And then they kind of reverted to it. This short program and the long program, like, I don't love these as vehicles. The Bryan Adams, Barbra Streisand short program, and
It's different. It's different than what we're used to from them, at least.
well, I guess. However, I will say this: there's a few things that I liked about this team at Cup of China. She's curling her hair, and I think it softens her a little bit, and it makes her a bit easier to watch. Okay, because she used to look quite severe. She's not the biggest, most smiley skater, and this is helping her. This is good. It's soft. And they went for 2 quads in the long program. Like, who doesn't? How
they
can
were
I
the
not?
first ones ever to attempt 2
How
quads.
can I not? Yeah. How can I not respect this? Like,
Well,
some might think
2
that
quad
they're a bit
throws.
over the. Yeah. Some might think that they're a bit over the hill, but they went for 2 quads. They landed the Salchow. Now, they're not the most beautifully landed jumps. I think, I'd love to see a quad with, a lot more run out than they achieved. But hey, they went for it. They did it. She, for the first time in a long time, looked genuinely happy. Like, it's great to see her smiling. In that final pair lift at the end of the long program, which is very impressive. She's in an awesome position. She's smiling up in the air, and you can see it. It's like, well, isn't this nice for a change? She was smiling on the way to the kissing cry to Tamara Moscovina, which is where usually she's like, you can tell she's fretting because she's about to get, the beats or something. But, she's genuinely happy, and it was good to see. I think Sui Han, apparently she injured herself either in the competition or during practice or something of that sort. I think, this is a team that really needs to start getting the quad out there during the season, so that they're not debuting it at the Grand Prix final or at Worlds up against Duhamel and Radford and Velocishar and Trankov. So I think it's a missed opportunity and a mistake not to attempt it at Skate America. It's unfortunate that they didn't attempt it here due to whatever injury she's dealing with. Though, if she's a Chinese Paris team, they're supposed to be throwing that girl for 4 rotations, no matter how she's going to come down on it. Yeah. So they're at B, and I think although I think this was Sui Han's, it was theirs to lose, and sure enough, they ended up losing it. The result is an indication that, the technical ante has increased in pair skating, and pairs that don't or are not attempting that difficulty are going to get left out in the cold.
Yeah, I thoroughly agree. I think this is a great competition for Kavaguti and Smirnov. I think they fully deserve to win. Even the short program, I thought they should have been ahead of Sui Han, who had kind of not the greatest triple toes. But in the free program, the quads definitely made the difference. Sui Han, there's the injury, and I think it was smart, actually, to not go with the throw quad. They still did the quad twist, which is great, so they did have a quad in there. But It's smarter to go with a throw triple. It's going to get like 6 or something points. Right now, the value of quads is so not a whole lot greater from triple to quad that like it's worth trying a quad if you feel like you're not going to land it, especially if you're injured. You don't want to exacerbate that injury, and going into the Grand Prix final, you don't want to like miss it because you decided to go for a quad. Again, it did cost them the victory, albeit a very narrow victory, but you got to give credit where credit's due. Kavaguti and Smirnov, they skated the best free skate they've ever skated. They got a personal best score, which would have like contended with for the silver medal essentially last year at Worlds. So they've put themselves in the hunt. Like, I think Kavaguti and Smirnov have always been in the shadow of like Velocizar and Trankov, and then like Stolbova and Klimov. But right now they've got the momentum over Stolbova and Klima, and I think Certainly over like other skate Paris teams who aren't having the best season, like Tarasova and Morozov. But this was great for them. I've never been classically a huge fan of Kavaguti and Smirnov's programs. I think they're kind of over dramatic and over the top. I mean, even the beginning of their free program where she has that outside spread eagle and looks like she's like completely dead and keeled over. But like I'm like,
Yeah.
oh god, here we go again. But then it
Yeah.
actually builds, and I actually really, really, really enjoyed their like. I was surprised with myself. I'm like, man, I'm finding them really engaging, and I'm finding them getting really into the performance, and that kind of tentativeness and fear is no longer there, and
Well, I think it's
they got rewarded for it.
yeah, and a clean program goes a long way,
Yes.
obviously,
Yeah.
because I don't usually have that reaction to them necessarily, and
Mhm.
it's good to see that they continue to push themselves technically and that they landed this.
Yeah, I also
Chuck,
loved. I also quick moment. I love that spiral that they do, like where he's doing a spiral and she's on top of him and she has her leg up and it looks like a little plus sign.
see,
I
I
think
don't
that
think
is.
that.
I love that. I think that is
Uh,
so cool. I think that is like if you're looking for transitions and linking footwork like that. That's a. See, I think a lot of times people do transitions and people do highlights, and for me that's a highlight. And I don't know. We can agree to disagree, but I personally love that moment of theirs.
I don't mind the position. I think he has better run of edge, and I think he has better line than she does.
Hmm. Well, I don't
That
know.
her leg sticking up there doesn't do a lot for me personally on that particular.
Fair
That's all
enough.
I'm saying. In ice dance,
Oh,
there
sorry,
was a
and a quick note, like congratulations to you and Jin, the third place uh, uh, finisher here. Again, amazing performances, two personal bests, and almost clear 200 points. This team is making a name for themselves,
yeah.
and we just wanted to give a quick shout out to them. You love their show program, not just because of like the
Because who
spirit
doesn't
music,
who doesn't love a loon call? Hi, I'm from
right?
Canada. I love cottage
Hello,
country. There's
put
a
the,
freaking loon call in the middle of their short program footwork.
put
Love
that
it.
loon call on a darn loony and mail it around the world because like that I don't know that was fierce and their program they're a couple to watch and I'm so glad that Chinese pair skating has transitioned from like Shannon Zhao, Pang and Tong, and like the Zhangs. Well, now Hao Zhangs with like Chang Peng, but
Yeah.
it's so nice to see that these young couples, like even the Wang and Wang, like they're all these up and coming Chinese pairs teams, and it's so great to see this. So kudos to them
Yeah,
as
and I
well.
think and I think the third place finishers here likely with Peng and Zhang and Sui and Han will probably make the world team, and three really strong, really competitive teams. In ice dance, there was another upset myth. Chalk and
Mm,
Bates came in here, the world silver medalists, the American national champions. We
Skate
all expected.
America.
I certainly expected this would be another sort of crowning moment to them and just seal the deal for the Grand Prix final. And lo and behold, the Italians, the world champions from 2014, that some might argue was a fluke, and I imagine they're still working to indicate and show that that wasn't a fluke.
Hmm.
They pulled it out, and brilliant for them. For me, the highlight of their competition was the opening lift in the free dance,
Hmm.
where he's just holding her and her like she's kind of doing almost a handstand on his shoulders. I just thought the simplicity, the drama of that position and that lift was like I couldn't wait to see more. I don't know that the rest of the free dance lived up to it necessarily, but that was exceptional. They got oodles of levels throughout that free dance. Scored I think about 106, which is a great competitive score with the ice dancers right now, and exciting for them and validating for them that that they're on their way back.
Yeah, I think a lot of people kind of shortchange Capellini and Lenotte because I like first of all, like let's get back to the world championship. That was not a fluke. They totally earned it. I mean, Ilinik and Katsalapov bombed in their short dance, and it became a three-way battle for the win. And yes, it was separated by like the slimmest of hairs, first, second, and third. But they rose to the occasion, and I think what got them that world title is what got them the title here. It was their increased difficulty over the competition. Chalk and Bates in their free dance did not have the same levels, and in the short dance, Madison, I believe her twizzles were like 3 turns. Like there's a very specific way and a specific pattern that twizzles need to be done. Otherwise, the level immediately drops from like a 4 to a 1, and it doesn't matter how great your twizzles are. After that, like it's almost like a spin that you don't get into the sit position right away or whatever. Like the level immediately drops. So that's a very specific technical requirement. And in ice dance, like technical is everything. Like as you can see here, this is what made the difference. I mean, Chalk and Bates, they still skated their free dance well. I thought they skated it a little bit better at Skate America, but their original dance still looks good. But I don't know, like that one error on the twizzles really ended up losing them some momentum and put some doubt into the judges' minds. Hey, like, are these really? They're obviously Chalk and Bates are hoping to win Worlds this year, but like they weren't expecting to be upset by the former world champions. And yes, it is an upset because we weren't expecting it, but in some ways it's not an upset. It's a former world champion. I think Capellini and Lenotte have a lovely short dance with a lot of personality and charm. A little bit sloppy in some places. I was kind of wondering about the score, but I
also really liked how her hair kind of came out. If you notice, like she had a bit of a bun going on, and by the end of it,
it was
Italian,
you know, she just
like
lets
a full
it go
ponytail.
everywhere,
I was like, was that intentional? I hope so, because I really liked it. I want to see that happen again and again.
Yeah. And of course, in third place, we had the Russian team of Elena Ilinik and Ruslan Zhiganshin. Hopefully, I'm pronouncing that right. Yes, they were also hoping for a strong result, and I think third was where I was expecting them to end up, and third is where they, lo and behold, ended up. They didn't hit the difficulty that, say, Sinitsina and Katsalapov got in their Grand Prix event at Skate Canada.
Skate America.
Yeah, sorry. And that's worth noting because that's going to be a battle for the Russian national champion. And if you look at the scores, the free dance score that Ilinik and Zhiganshin got was actually less than Sinitsina and Katsalapov. So they're going to have to really go back to the drawing board to see if this is going to be a momentum swing. Sometimes you can't really compare competitions because one judging panel might be a little stricter than another. They might, drop down their component scores compared to another competition. So it's hard to compare one to another. But it'll be very interesting to see where this goes because I think a couple people are probably diehard Elena Ilinik fans, and they're like, "What do you mean Nikita ended up getting a higher score than her here? So what's going on?"
Yeah.
So
I think Ilinik and Zhiganshin should be a little bit concerned and wary and make sure that the little stumble that they made in their free dance that they don't make that again in continued competitions. And I think their twizzles actually were the best in the competition, frankly. I don't know if they were scored that way, but they had an extended leg. They were the closest to sort of that Davis and White blur that I've seen out of any of the competitors, and and that was impressive. I also think I want to return to Chalk and Bates just for a moment. I think that the lift that they do, where she just sort of shifts her body weight and falls out of it, and just sort of leans out of it and falls into the landing position, I think is a really stunning lift and a great exit, an innovative exit. Simple, but really effective. And I also find the Rachmaninoff music that they've selected, they've added some symbols, some flourishes in terms of the cuts and the music, and it's just added a bit more interest than the music that they played or that they used at Nebelhorn Trophy. So they're continuing to work. It's not major cuts or changes, but they're adding to and helping to create some depth in the music, which I think is creating more audience interest. So overall, all in all, I think this competition for me, and now seeing the Italians and seeing the Russians skate, this only drives my interest more in seeing what the French come out with. Because for me, none of the ice dance teams, frankly, and I might get a ton of shade for this, but none of the ice dance teams yet have hit the bullseye, in my opinion, in terms of the vehicles they've chosen. Mm-hmm. So the stage is sort of set. If the French and the music that they've chosen is brilliant, that just came out recently on social media. I I mean, they could just bring the house down in Boston, because I haven't yet seen these amazing vehicles. However, it's still slightly early in the season, and maybe some of the programs will will grow on me.
Yeah, and it was announced that the French team of Kavaguti and Smirnov unfortunately won't be competing in the Grand Prix series, so we won't get to see them quite yet. But I think they will be ready come Europeans, and it'll be very interesting to see how they stack up, because like you said, nobody's really bringing it yet this early in the season. We've seen some nice skates, but I don't think we've seen I don't think there have been any definitive favorites established yet. So it'll be very interesting to see where it goes. Of course, the final discipline of Cup of China was the men's discipline, where the world champion, Javier Fernandez, was making his Grand Prix debut this season. He's obviously been on the Grand Prix in the past, just this season, I mean. His first Grand Prix. And again, he was a favorite to win, and he totally nailed it. He got his short program was brilliant, one of his best short programs.
This is why I'm doing the Malagueña, hands.
Yeah.
Stunning.
Yeah.
I think there are a lot of figure skaters that use their hands too much and they're overworked. His were perfection.
Yeah, he was giving me some shades of Stéphane Lambiel's flamenco, like that. Oh my god, I was so proud of Javier, because this is a side of artistry that we haven't seen from him. I am a little frustrated that it is a Spanish piece for a Spanish skater, and he has done that in the past a little bit, but he hasn't done it with this type of artistry, and I think it really shows off a refined side of him, which I've just been dying to see, and it was a nice contrast to his Black Betty program, which was my favorite short program actually of last year. So good for him for already getting a clean short this season, and then in the long program he nailed some quads, and he had an issue with his axle, but all in all, he definitely deserved the win here, and he solidified the fact of why he is the world champion.
Yeah, I think going up against Wu Jing, there's so much excitement and hype around him.
For good reason.
Yeah, but there was the distinct possibility that this young quadding kid could create a huge upset, and Javier showed that he's I don't think Javier could afford to make many mistakes, and he didn't. He did really well, and I think compound that with the fact that he's now the world champion, and there's greater expectation, and there's more intrigue and interest in how he's skating. I mean, we saw Elizaveta succumb to that badly in the short program at Skate Canada. Javier, didn't show that he had a lot of problems with that. And I think also that's probably indicative of the fact that Javier has slowly moved up, the rankings on the world scene, won his first medal, the bronze in 2013, held, was fourth at Olympic Games, snagged the bronze again in 2014, then moved his way up to the gold in 2015. So I think he's slowly evolved into the champion that he is. And my only word, I love the short program. The long program, I'm oh god, it's another braces sticking yeah, and it's obviously something that he's comfortable with, and it's I guess maybe if you are the defending champion and you want to make sure that you're on your game and you're going up against the Olympic champion and the returning 3-time world champion Patrick Chan, and you want to play to your strengths and find a vehicle and a program that's really comfortable for you. I kind of would have liked to have seen him try something else, push himself artistically a little bit, and then maybe revert back to these sort of shticky show numbers with the suspenders and all that jazz, for the Olympic season or closer to Olympics. That would be my that's my only criticism. But he does this style program very well. Yes. And it would be worse if he wasn't finding himself artistically, and he was struggling, he's obviously found himself, and he's kind of not deviating from it very much.
Yeah, and I think I said that he was having issues with this triple actual. Actually, he didn't. He landed it, and then he went into this like kind of stop thing. It kind of reminded me of Patrick Chan's triple loop where he does a stop right after, which I really like. But he hung on to that. But what I definitely want to talk about very quickly, but like Boyang Jin. I mean,
Hello,
hello.
hello.
Okay, so we've seen like videos of him on Instagram and stuff like in practice and like that quad lutz is just phenomenal. Like that combination, if he had gotten more grade of execution in the short program, which I think he kind of deserved, but like regardless, that's like a 20-point combination, like for quad lutz, triple toe. And his free program, his base value, like hold your hats, that's 102 points base value. So if he skates like just that, it's 102 points of technical element score, which is like the second highest ever. Anyways, but if he actually skates it with quality execution, he can score like up to like 115. I don't know. I can't even do the math because I can't even fathom a number that's so high. He has 4 quads. And 4 quads along with a triple axle, triple sow series and a triple H triple toe. And then he does a triple flip to like as his easy jump to end off the program. I mean, this guy is a machine, and I hope to God that like he stays healthy because like that like doing that type of technical content can wreak havoc on a skater's body. But like
Yeah.
I'm sorry, when you do a short program with like a quad lutz triple toe to open, and then at the second half be like, oh yeah, by the way, here's like my second solo jump, a quad toe.
Totally.
I mean,
It's ridiculous.
It's absolutely mind blowing, and it's very
It's
exciting.
incredible.
It's very exciting to see. He's clearly, and honestly, his artistry in his short program is also really good too. It's not like he lacks like a great program. I think his spins have gotten a little bit better. I think his transitions are fairly solid,
Well,
and
I think he's
yeah, he's
sorry,
a work.
but
He's a work in progress, but
yeah,
he
and I
did what
think
he
he
needed
does.
to. He did what he needed to do to earn the silver medal here, and that's
Yeah,
put up a crazy technical showing.
and he needs. I think artistically, he needs to land all these jumps
Mm-hmm.
for the performance and the energy of it to come off. He really can't afford a lot of mistakes or any mistakes for it to be effective because he just doesn't have enough sort of artistic and interpretive depth to keep it going.
But like in the free program to like pull off 100 points with like major error, like his like again, like he could have beaten Javier actually here if he had just been a little bit cleaner in his free program. I think his component scores were pretty fair in his free program. He wasn't the greatest as compared to his short program, but sometimes his quads have this issue of like kind of landing a little forward on the pick on the blade, and somehow he still manages to stay upright. So I think that's something that could iron out, but he's clearly shown improvement, and of course making history by landing the first quad lutz triple toe. Shout out to Brandon Mraz and Tom Zagracek for like getting that first quad lutz way back in NHK a couple years ago. But Boyang took it one step further and landed the hardest combination ever landed by a figure skater, and then like repeats the quad lutz in the free skate like it's like oh whatever, here it is again, right? Like it's just completely mind blowing, and it's a great sign as to like where figure skating is going. In third place, we had Han Yan, who got the hometown, his home crowd going by getting the bronze medal. Again, his short program wasn't that like as ideal as he would have wanted. Like his triple axel, which normally is like ginormous, he got an under rotation just because it just wasn't there. And in the free program, he had a couple errors too, but he did what he needed to do to get a bronze medal and keep himself in contention for a Grand Prix show. Or actually, no, he took himself out because he didn't have it. Sorry, I'm trying to think. I'm like, which skaters have already competed and which ones haven't? No, I don't think he will make the Grand Prix final, but he did have a medal here, which is much improved performance than his Grand Prix earlier in the season.
Totally,
yeah, so good for Han Yan, and a great way to cap off a very exciting men's event and a very interesting Cup of China competition with some comebacks, some like new elements, like again like Kavaguti and Smirnov with their like 2 quad throws, and Boyang Jin with his like like a gazillion quads, including his quad Lutzes. So
Yeah.
it is very exciting. And normally Cup of China, it doesn't get the prolific shout outs as like Skate Canada or Skate America or Bompard or NHK, where obviously there's the ginormous excited Japanese crowd. It's kind of seen as like the intermediary Grand Prix, but never mind this year, because it was actually very exciting, and I'm very proud of the skaters for making a wonderful, entertaining event.
Yeah, it was a good heat filled with some great storylines in each of them. So thanks so much for listening to or watching this episode of The Blade Boys. If you like what you saw, and even if you don't, feel free to comment below and subscribe to us. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter. And if you also want to check out some amazing additional figure skating news, wander on over to goldenskate.com. There's great updates and stories there. And there's also the always entertaining discussion boards where skating fans like Miff, myself, and others have good old long, hearty chats about what we like, what we don't like, who we don't like, and of course, what they're wearing.
Yes, of course. And they have some great articles, some great interviews. So check them out as well.
Yeah,
and these are the Blade Boys signing off. Please follow us on Twitter and on Facebook. And as Ted said, comment below. And we will see you at the next Grand Prix.
Thanks for watching.
Thanks for watching.